Tonight.
Welcome to half an hour of news from your region.
Blown away, the big clear-up begins as a tornado sweeps through a quiet residential street.
It actually touched down, did a little swirly thing right here and just shot off. It was incredible.
More of those pictures coming up. Also on the programme, driving us round the bend, the couple who've had 50 cars. Welcome to the programme. First tonight, how dozens of people have spent the day repairing their homes after a tornado ripped through a street in Lakenheath near Thetford.
It happened last night as a storm front came through. But the residents of Eriswell Drive got far more than just a thunderstorm. Winds struck houses, ripping down fences, destroying roofs and uprooting gardens. It's thought the damage will cost many thousands to repair.
Well, our reporter Matthew Hudson has spent the day in Lakenheath and joins us from there now. Matthew.
Well, as you can imagine, it's been quite a day in this part of town following last night's tornado. Quite a large amount of repair work has already been undertaken, but as you can see behind me, there's still an awful lot that still needs doing. And coming up now, some amateur video pictures which show you exactly why last night's event is something that people here won't be forgetting for a very long time. Fence panels are hurled high into the air before crashing into people's homes. This footage of last night's tornado was shot by John Bridgens from his home in Lakenheath.
I was sitting on the couch, starting to work, whatever, and the sky's turned real yellow, and it was real windy. Heard a lot of rain, so I looked outside and there's pieces of panel flying around, so I went inside and grabbed the camera and started taking video.
It seems amazing that no one was hurt. The mini tornado ripped through a corridor along Eriswell Drive at about 7:30 last night. It ripped off hundreds of roof tiles, uprooted trees, smashed windows, and demolished dozens of fences. Eyewitnesses were amazed.
It actually touched down, did a little swirly thing right here and just shot off. It was incredible.
Jim Williams looked out of his house when his wife said their fence had disappeared.
And I looked up and the big fence panels, about 3 or 4 of them were about 100 foot in the air swirling around. And I looked at it, I wasn't scared, I was just mesmerised by it. I'd never seen anything like it before.
It was heartbreaking for Mark Brown. A large part of his roof was ripped away. He narrowly missed being showered with glass when his window was blown in. But worst of all, the garden he'd spent 4 years lovingly creating has been utterly destroyed. Even his garden shed was uprooted and turned upside down.
A little bit devastated, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's my pride and joy, really. Yeah, I'm not very pleased at all, but what can you do? Start again.
Several people had to leave their homes because torrential rain was falling on exposed wiring. Landlord Andy McManus arrived to find that his house was one of those most badly affected.
A lot of roof tiles damaged and felt damage on the roof. The garden shed is upside down in the back garden. Obviously the window at the front has been put through with the tree going through it. So there's a lot of glass damage inside.
Today the clean-up operation got underway. The contractors arriving here were amazed at what they saw.
This is pretty bad. I've never known anything like it, to be honest with you.
There's nowhere else in the background.
Repair now on raised roof, just to make it watertight, but he knows at the end of the day it's got to be a complete re-roof.
It will be a long time before things get back to normal here. A part of Lakenheath locals are already calling Tornado Alley. Well, one thing that's really struck us while we've been here has been the fine community spirit, a kind of spirit of the Blitz from the British residents, and for the many Americans, I suppose, the spirit of the Alamo. In any event, people have been doing what they can to help out their friends and neighbours and try and rescue things and repair things. Contractors were here first thing in the morning. Some of them are still working as I speak tonight, but I suspect that they're going to be coming back for many more days before this place is finally back to how it used to be.
Okay, Matthew, thanks very much indeed. Well, quite extraordinary, isn't it? Wendy joins us now with some science for us.
We've been here before, haven't we, Wendy? Are we living in Tornado Alley?
Well, it does seem so, doesn't it? I mean, only in the time that I've been here, I remember reporting on one in Peterborough that did a similar thing to Lakenheath. We had one last year in Luton, and actually on average across the region we get 35 a year. sometimes a lot more than that. They don't all do the sort of thing that this one has done in Lakenheath, so it does still appear to be a rare phenomenon. And in fact, we do actually need quite specific weather conditions to get one of these. So, as I say, this is the science bit. This is how it all works. First of all, we take a large thundery cumulonimbus cloud and then add a change in wind direction. And last night it went from the southwest to the north, and that gets things spinning. And basically warm air gets sucked up by the energy in the cloud, and that's what we call the updraft. And as it rises, it starts to rotate to form what we call the vortex. Now next, the dry air gets sucked up too, and that actually evaporates the moisture. So the air cools and then it sinks as it does, and that's what makes the vortex stretch downwards. And when it's touching both the cloud and the ground, we can call it a tornado. And I would say, looking at the damage over Lakenheath, that we could have had winds in excess of 100 miles per hour in the short time that it was there. And we did manage to pick up the thundercloud that did that on the radar picture, and you can see that there. Just watch as you go through. If we click it on here, we can see that there was a flash of red that went through there, and that is the very intense rainfall. It's usually a good indication of where all the action happened, because the intense rainfall signifies the most ferocious activity. As you can see there, it was gone as soon as this had come, and it's strange to think now, looking at this evening, that we were gearing up this time yesterday for quite a disruptive end of the day in some places.
Certainly freshened things up, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. But, you know, no good for those poor people in Lakenheath.
Okay, now, next tonight, it's an unusual milestone and it's hardly one to celebrate.
Since Sue and Alan Ives moved into their home at Fenton near Huntingdon 15 years ago, cars have crashed into it 50 times.